Hi guys, welcome to this session, this Q&A session for the film we just watched, which is About a Boy. I just watched a very lovely film, I must say. I had a mixture of emotions, and that's in a good way, because this was personally for me a well-made film, and I'm really happy to be anchoring this session with these guys because they've done something that I really admire very much. My name is Muyiwa Awujide. I'm the creative director of Sodas and Popcorn. We're a movie blog that has the duty of documenting the African stories and African films and things that happen within the Nigerian and African movie industry. And it's my utmost pleasure to be welcoming the team behind About a Boy to this conversation. If our job is to be documenting stories from Africa, I think this is one story that I'm really excited to be talking about. So today I'll be discussing with Fumi Mustafa, DG Aderogba, Adio Sholanke, and Olumide Oworu. But before we go into that, a bit of housekeeping issues. Well, not issues, but a little bit of housekeeping. This is the 8th edition of the Nollywood Film Festival, and this has been a very unique edition thanks to COVID. I'm sure you all understand why I mean virtual thing, and it's not been physical, but I think it's been a great job so far. It's really been exciting. In the comfort of my home, I pray I don't get too fat from sitting down and watching so many movies back to back, back to back. And as we all know, this is going to be going on till Sunday. We have 2 more days. There is, I think, there's still a lot of exciting stuff to come today, and then we have 2 full days of other conversations. Also, don't forget that About a Boy is in the competition for Audience Award, and please vote for the film if you think it deserves to win the award. And the winners will be announced on Sunday. So please don't forget that About a Boy is in the competition for Audience Awards. So please don't forget that. And then on Sunday also, myself and some really exciting filmmakers will be having conversations about art house films and the Nigerian space, because this is a film that is not conventional. It's not the typical mainstream stuff you see straight out of Nollywood. And this could qualify to an extent when, well, in Nigerian context as an art house film. And we'll be having a conversation talking about the fact that are we ready for these films in the Nigerian space? How can we market these films in the Nigerian space? How can we ensure works like this, we get to see many more of them? So please make sure you join that conversation. I think it's around 4:30 p.m. Nigerian time, which will be about, I don't want to mix up the time zone, but I think it's about 4:30 Nigerian time. Yeah, and lastly, this is the world premiere of About a Boy. So this is the first time myself and everybody else who is part of this festival have been privileged to see this very beautiful film, and I think it's a real privilege for me to have seen this. So this was the world premiere of the film. So the team from About a Boy will be joining us in a few moments, and we can get the conversation started. Yes, like I said, I have Digi Adoroba, who is the director of the film. Digi, welcome to this session. You made a very lovely film. Congratulations on that. How do you feel? You're mute. Your mic is mute.
Thank you. Yeah. Well, I feel so great. I feel so happy seeing the film finally with everybody. I've always wanted this time to come, and finally, I'm chilled. I'm fine.
Awesome. I trust you full ground, like we would say in Nigeria.
Yeah.
So next, the next person to join us is who would that be? Who is walking into the room next? Is Adeosola Anke, who is the screenwriter for this film. I'm correct, right? And also the producer, I believe, right?
Yes.
Yes. So it's a pleasure to have you. I think Dari borrowed your glasses throughout the film, right?
Yes, he did actually.
Yeah, it's great to have you here once again.
Thank you very much.
Kudos, great job. We'll talk more about how you were able to construct this story in a bit. We'll still talk about that. So next up we have, can we bring the lady in? We have enough boys already. Yeah, thank you very much. We have Fumi Mustafa, who is an actor in the film and as well as the producer. This is you guys hear me?
Hi, everybody.
Nice to have you here.
Thank you.
Nice to have you here.
Thank you.
Such a great job. Thank you very much. And lastly, we will be having Olumide Oworu, I think he should just pronounce it himself. Hi, Olumide.
Hello.
Yeah, so how do you pronounce your last name so I don't bother you?
It's Oworu.
Wow, I was way off. So sorry about that. Oworu. So we have Olumide Oworu, who was a star in the film. So thank you guys for joining this conversation. I believe we're going to have a very, very exciting conversation talking about how this film was made. But one of the first things I would say is, I think this is the Sorosuke generation, right? Did you guys hear what I said?
Yes, it is.
I said I'm guessing this is the Sorosuke generation because I can see a very young team of for those who don't understand what I just said, it's slang in Nigeria that talks about the young folks, or rather the younger folks, because some people here are not, some people here, I'm sure their daddies like children already. So what I'm just trying to say basically is this is a very young team of filmmakers, people who are quite young in the movie industry, and I'm really proud for something like this that you guys have put together. So I'll be starting with Gigi.
Okay.
How did you guys get into film? Basically, seeing that it's not something that people as young as you guys would normally, be so deep into, because I could see that this was a work of passion. So what's the story basically about the journey into filmmaking?
Oh well, I'll just speak based on my own vibe, but making this film for me is very important. It's very important to tell this kind of story. Especially in our society where we don't really get to talk about issues like this. And one of the major things you have to consider before making a film is knowing kind of story you want to tell, and who you want to tell this story to. And so when my writer sent the script to me and I read it, and I fell in love with it almost immediately after I read a few pages, because I knew that was the kind of story that I was meant to be told, and like you said, it's more of passion, and I'm extremely happy that I work with young, passionate filmmakers, people that were also like, they are ready to tell stories, not just stories, but important societal stories. And so basically, I would say everybody brought their A game in from first day of production to the last day. We all worked together, even though I was director, but at the end of the day, I learned one or two things from everybody because they all contributed one or two things to telling the story. So for me, I just feel like, yes, this is a story that should be told, and I'm grateful to God that He helped us achieve something this nice. So yes.
Awesome, awesome. So for me as the producer and actor in this film, that's not an easy combo they're combining there. And but in terms of acting, have you had other credits before now, aside from this work, in terms of feature-length films, basically? Hi, Fumi. Okay, so let's go to Adio. So for you, Adio, you were the producer and the storyteller, the screenplay writer for this film. How did you arrive at this? Have you been well, let's leave how did you arrive at this for now first, but your journey into filmmaking, into writing stories, how did that start?
So I discovered
Okay,
early on.
for feature length, no, but hi, can you hear me? Can you hear
We
me?
can hear you
Yes,
now.
I think I hear you now. Hello, Fumi. Oh, okay, please, Adio, go ahead.
Okay, so for me, I discovered storytelling quite relatively early, since secondary school was when I started
Okay.
playing around with creating stories and telling stories. And going into the university, I already knew that film was the medium I wanted to use to tell my stories. And from the beginning of my days in university, I was already writing scripts and making short films with friends, pointing cameras at classmates, and so on and so forth. That was the beginning of that was really the beginning of the journey into filmmaking
It's
for me.
been for
My
you.
early days in
Okay.
university. That was when I really took it serious.
Okay, great, great, great. And Olumide, of course, Olumide has lots of other credits. I mean, most recently that I do remember is DOD, Day of Destiny. So, being on this project, how would you say it makes you feel? How did you get to be on this particular project? Hi, Olumide, can you hear me clearly?
The wonderful producers of the movie reached out to me, and after they kind of shares that they had bought into it, because for me it's important to not just do films that only entertain. Said, to pass on messages through art. is one of the to come off as being overly direct or unnecessarily preachy. That's really what I liked about it. And I'm really happy to have been a part of the project because I had an amazing time on set. Really great people. And I feel like we've all come together and made a body of work that we can be proud of.
Okay, great. Great. So Fumi, I don't know if you can. Sorry, I dropped off for a moment there. Fumi, I don't know if you can hear me clearly now.
Yes, I can. Yes, I can.
Okay. So I think the question was yes. I think the question was about your experience so far in terms of acting and feature-length films and even shorts also.
Okay. Oh, yeah. So I studied theater arts, dramatic arts in University. So I got, my training in acting from there. And after that, I acted in a number of stage plays, a web series, short films, but never a feature length. So October is practically my first feature length experience. And
Great job.
yeah, no, yeah.
Oh, that's exciting. Looking forward to seeing you in a lot more stuff as your career progresses, and then you become that that Meryl Streep.
Yeah,
So
that's the dream.
let's talk a bit about the story itself and how this story was born. This story feels I don't know how to describe it. It's layered, right? There were so many layers to this story. The characters seemed complicated and complex, and it seemed to me like this was some really personal experience. Well, not experience, but in terms of putting this story together, it must have been a lot of work. And that's one of the things that I could tell from the story, because the characters are complex, the story itself, the way the decisions and the acts, they're also very very complex and things like that, and the way the whole story is brought together. How was this story born, and how many versions of this story did you have to edit before we got to this final one that made it to life? That question is directed to Adio.
Yes. So on paper, the funny thing is, on paper, this script only had 3 versions on paper, but before
Oh,
it got to paper, it had spent a couple of years in my head and gone through different revisions.
how
And
many years?
as for what,
How many years?
I'll say about 3 years. No, it's been
Okay,
longer than
okay,
that. The story came to me while I was during my youth service, and I think that was about 4 or 5 years ago.
okay,
Yes.
okay,
So
okay.
that's how long the story has been playing, bouncing off the walls in my head. And as for its origin, one of the early things I learned about screenwriting is that when you're writing a script or when you're creating a character, it's usually good if parts of the script, parts of the story, or parts of the character is very familiar to you, so that when the script comes out, it comes across as something real. So that was what born the character of Dari as a writer, with myself also being a writer and also understanding the struggle of finding inspiration and trying to meet deadlines and trying to make it good, just like he wanted in the film. So that was the original source of the idea. And then for the other aspect of Dari's character is relationship with Becca. Also, I would say there's a little bit of my personality in that, because I've gone through life with women, in quote, or girls, me being very passive or not making the greatest or best decisions in relationship, the women or girls in my life. So those two things were the personal things that pulled that I pulled into the script, and they really did help me in making the best out of that character. But then, as for the mental psychological part of the storytelling, I would say psychology is something I'm very interested in. And there are different things I randomly read on the internet about people's mind, people's mentality, the way the mind works, and all that also was just flowing through me into the script. Just something I was really interested in. I pulled it into the script. That's basically the long and short of it, I think.
Awesome. That's great. So in terms of being able to bring those films to life, we know that shooting films in Nigeria, no matter how low budget it is never easy. So in terms of being able to fund this film and the journey from third draft to this very moment, or rather, let me say, to the final moment of post-production when the film was ready, how long would you say that has been for me, if you don't mind? How would you guys say, the funding of this film? How would you say you've been able to raise the funds to have been able to make this film?
Okay, so I remember that just reached out to Adio and said, I think we have learned enough, we of us have done a lot of background work in the Nigerian industry, and I just felt that, okay, let's take our first fruits by making a film. And here, first time we discussed the idea of About a Boy. And what I said,
I can't hear you clearly. I think.
Oh, okay. So I said, okay. So I said over time that I had discussed the idea of About a Boy and stuff. So after it happened, and we decided that, okay, we think that it is time for us to take our first step forward. Drafted a proposal, we worked on it together. Once I did draft, Adio Sholanke went and all that, and then we sent it out to people we didn't know, people that are interested in the business of filmmaking and all that, and we didn't respond. And after a while, we just decided that, okay, we would look around our friends, our families, but we still wanted it to be professional and business-like. So we sent them the proposal, and thank God for great friends and family members, and they were stood on our fund straight up, and we started working, and here we are. People don't see people who fund it, but without them, we don't have About a Boy. Yeah, we are grateful for that. But we had to convince them that we knew what we were doing and that we were going to be able to make their money back. And I'm glad we did, because we have About a Boy.
By God's grace. So in case people couldn't hear you clearly because your audio was a bit, I think what he was saying was the journey from the moment when they were trying to fund the film was basically a lot of personal sweat and friends and family. I believe that's what you said, right? Yes. And so at this point, they're just hoping, and I'm very sure you would. They're just hoping they would be able to make the money back, make the the investment back, and of course returns for the background executive producers. Okay, so there are a few questions. We are almost out of time now, so we would have to rush things up. Maybe about 2-3 minutes left. So in the first question, how early into development did you know that you wanted Dirty Dancing to play a pivotal role in the story? That's the first question. And then the second question is, do you think Dare has been attracted to Becca because of his own trauma? So I think I'll let who wants to answer the question. Let me just open the floor. Who wants to answer the first question about Dirty Dancing?
Okay, so let me take let me take the one about Dirty Dancing. So, Dirty Dancing is a very big part of popular culture, and there's a film I
Yeah.
really like, Crazy Stupid Love, and Dirty Dancing was also referenced in that movie. It was very subconscious when it came
Beautiful
into the
film.
script. Yeah, Crazy Stupid Love. So it was very subconscious when Dirty Dancing came into this film, but that scene from Crazy Stupid Love where the guy says that was his own special move to getting girls fall in his arms or blah 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 was probably playing in my head when I put this into the script. So it was always there from the beginning, maybe the first draft on paper, not necessarily before I started writing. But yeah, that early. And just because Dirty Dancing is a very big part of popular culture.
Once again, the Sorosuke generation mentioned, paying homage to the elders. Okay, so Dario has been. Do you think Dario has been attracted to Becca because of his own trauma? I think that answers itself. I think yes. I think it was. I think it was sort of referenced in the story. But I'll let you guys answer the question. Yep.
Director Didi, please do this.
Yes. Okay. So it's just I think I think we tried as much as possible to portray that at that point he wasn't seeing anyone, and based on the kind of person Daryl is, he's not someone that is always like open to people. So now he sees this young fine lady, and he thinks that, okay, fine, I've seen my muse, and it is just only right for me to build something up with this lady, not knowing that on the other side of the story, also from Becca is also like trying to like find a leverage, of emotions. So I believe, or I think that yes, Barry is kind of attracted, or was kind of attracted to her because of what he was going through in life, and then he feels like, okay, he's seeing somebody that he can open up to and build something up with. So yes.
Okay. Okay. So I think we have to round up now. I mean, 30 minutes goes so fast with these conversations. I believe we still have more we can talk about. But I mean, it is what it is. So I mean, thank you very much for joining this conversation. Thank you so much for making this film. I believe that the audience, whichever okay, let me ask this quick question. In terms of distribution, in terms of putting it out there, do you have any channel yet they're looking at in terms of people being able to see this film, and how do you think the audience is going to receive this? This question can be answered by Adjo in like 2 seconds.
I did that. I didn't get what you said. Hello?
Okay, for me, please go ahead.
Yes, for me.
Okay. Okay, so we are considering VOD platforms, for distribution, because we believe that it would be the best route for our audience to properly, watch and understand about a boy, the thematic preoccupation and all that. Yes. What was the second question? Sorry.
Yeah, so that's the question basically. That's the question basically in terms of where we will be seeing this film very soon. So it's exciting to know that the VOD platform or a VOD platform. So we're looking forward to that happening very soon. So I think we can head on to the networking hub, to continue our conversations, or to just chill for the next session, which is the monologue slam, which will be anchored by Lala Akidoju, and that starts by 4:30 Nigerian time. Lagos time. So once again, thank you very much, guys. Thank you very much, DG. Thank you very much,
Thank you very much,
you.
Noah. Thank you very much.
Thank
you very much.
you.
Thank you
very
for
much,
having us.
Jennifer. Thank you. Thank you for having us. Bye.
Yes, my
Bye.